Hey everyone, it's Richard Payne here, your Halifax real estate expert, and it's time to start looking at some stats to see what's going on. Just out here in an area where my daughter's playing soccer, so there'll be some kids and screaming and stuff like that. But hey, the key thing is you get the information about the marketplace here in Halifax so you know what's really going on, because that's the key thing. Knowledge is power and you need to know what's happening. So in terms of the marketplace, like how did we do for May? Well, we now have 4,100 properties on the sale right now. Now, that sounds like a lot, but the good news with that is that we actually sold roughly 500 to 600, 550 homes were actually sold, which meant we're starting to eat into that inventory. Now, we've been in a pretty strong buyer's market in terms of the inventory, like 9, 10, 11 months. You know, I think we even hit 13 months at some stage. The good news now is that spring has sprung. People are actually out there buying. Houses are selling. So we're down to only 8.4 months of inventory right now, which is good because that shows us that the trend is actually heading down and we're getting more towards that balanced market where we don't favor buyers, we don't favor sellers. We just get a good solid thing in terms of the marketplace. Now, here's the interesting part, 100 days on market. Now that has actually crept up. We've been more like the 95, but we've gone up by around about another 10 days. So we're now at 107 days on market. But the good news here is that for the first time in quite a while, we've actually broken the $300,000 price bracket. We're now at $309 for a single family home for the average price of what's sold going on in May. Now, when you look at the condos actually took a bit of a price drop. They down in May to an average of $236, and that's really the Clinton Park area, which is just below Bedford and above the Halifax Peninsula. That's what's been selling in that area, so that kind of is a lower price bracket than all the stuff we've historically seen, which has been South End properties, which, you know, South End, Halifax on the peninsula command a much higher price. As well as new condos that are coming onto the market in that kind of lower range than what's been historically the norm in Halifax. We've been seeing more of the $199,000 to $219,000 condos. Small, you know, definitely small in terms of the price, but you know, funky, updated, great location. We touched on this last month at a place called Morris East. So they've obviously been doing a lot of pre-sales, so they've pulled that average price down as well. So that's really what's been going on there, is good market in the single family home, a little bit more challenging in the condo market. Now, we always tell you about what's the top selling areas, and again, no real surprise that we're hitting Bedford and Sackville, but for two real different reasons. Bedford average price $385. Sackville actually crept up to $235, and Sackville is the first-time home buyers market, and historically that's been around about the $220 mark. Now we're up to $235, and we're in a balanced market, so there's no favor for the sellers, no favor for the buyers. Average around about 7-8 months on market, so you know, pretty balanced there. And Bedford certainly has been, you know, always in the top 1 or 2 areas because you get a good range of properties. But $386 as an average price there really shows you what's going on. Now, in terms of who's hot and what's selling hot, so they're in a strong seller's market. Halifax West and Halifax South have only got 3.5 months of inventory on the market, so those are really strong areas. And interestingly enough, the Montebello area of Dartmouth as well is also joined the ranks of a strong seller's market right now, which means not a lot of inventory. So if you're looking to buy in those kind of areas, you don't have a lot of choice because of the properties that are on the market are going fairly quick. They're being snapped up and actually being sold. So that's really what's been going on here in Halifax for the month of May. Now, if you've got any questions about your area and what your property could get, as soon as we're getting into that spring market, things are really starting to pick up. You've got to make sure you're priced appropriately. You've got to make sure you're doing everything right in the marketplace to sell your home. And I have that information. I'd like to share it with you. So if you want to give me a call, my number is 902-489-1804, or email me, richard@richardpayne.ca, because I'm here to make your real estate simple.